Hello and welcome to Happy Horror Time. My name is Tim Murdoch.
And my name is Matt Emmert. Today's special guest may be best known for her role as Mary, the matriarch in E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial, but for horror fans, she's a true legend with roles in the genre spanning 5 decades. She was pursued by cannibals in Wes Craven's The Hills Have Eyes, battled a pack of werewolves in The Howling, fended off a rabid dog in Cujo, pulled a shotgun on a bunch of small furry aliens and critters, and even played one half of a serial killing duo in The Frighteners. And she's still going strong in horror this year with roles in The Boy from Below, The Licked Hand, and Southern Scares. In addition, she's a best-selling author and a multinational respected authority on the art of self-creation. I mean, I am in awe of everything she's accomplished throughout her illustrious career. We are so honored to welcome to the podcast, Dee Wallace.
Hi, guys. Boy, it sounds like I should be 150, doesn't it?
I mean, it really is so remarkable, everything you've accomplished. It's crazy. I don't know how you have time to sleep.
I don't either, but it's really important to me, so I work it in.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I do. I hit the floor running, and I run all day, but at 6 o'clock, especially if I'm home, I quit. I have dinner with my guy. We watch some shows or go to a movie or, balance in our lives is really, really important.
Yes.
And
yes.
Americans are not taught that.
No, and most places of employment don't teach that either. They try to overwork their employees, not speaking from experience or anything. But so we want to take it back to the beginning because we read that you're originally from Kansas City and your mom was involved in community theater. So is that what inspired you to pursue acting, or when did you first become interested in performing?
I can't remember a time when I wasn't. We were very poor when I was little, but my mom, she worked as a secretary and then acted at night and on the weekends. She also produced and directed all the religious plays at our church. And every Christmas and Easter would do a half hour, what we would call monologue. They called them readings back then. And people from 4 states would come to watch my mother do these readings. And I remember I was somewhere between 6 or 8 years old. And we were sitting watching my mom do this, and I looked around and everybody was crying. All these adults were crying. And I went, oh, this is what I want to do. I want to move people like my mommy.
Oh.
And here come the tears. So I knew in that moment, but even before that, they had me in modeling. She traded secretary duties to get me dance classes. She just knew. I was the Dell comic queen when I was little. My dad worked for Dell Comics, so I had the little crown. I welcomed Walt Disney. I was the Imperial Margarine Princess. Remember where the crown goes pop? No, you probably don't remember.
Well, yes.
Wait, no, I've heard it.
Yes, I see. I'm a little older than Matt. So.
Yeah, but you're not that old.
I'm 50.
As me. So, I kind of was in that world without really knowing why I was in that world. I don't think my mom did it to make money, but I also never got an account that all that money was in. So, I graduated from the University of Kansas in theater and English, taught 1 year, and thought, if I don't get out of here now, I ain't ever going to get out of here. So I said, I'm going to go be an actress. I'm going to New York.
And growing up,
everybody laughed at me. Everybody. And said, you don't know anybody. Nobody knows you. Stay in Kansas where it's safe. And I went, thanks for sharing. Gonna go anyway. And in less than 7 years, I starred in E.T.
Oh my God.
And
Yeah,
growing
it's a
up,
Hollywood story, isn't it?
Yeah.
and growing up in Kansas, were horror films on your radar? Did any have an impact?
Oh, hell
on you?
no. Horror films were never on my. Let me tell you, my older brother babysat me one night, and my mom said, don't you dare show her anything scary. So, of course, he showed me Frankenstein's wife or some stupid picture like that. Well, my mom came home to a hysterical little girl, and I told her what happened, and she looked at my brother and she said, and she'll be sleeping with you in your bed until she's okay to go back to her room.
Oh my gosh. So you were traumatized by the Bride of Frankenstein?
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
I'm really good at doing them. I'm really a wussy to watch them.
We hear that a lot
Yeah,
with
we do.
Yeah.
with many of the people we talk to. Like, again, we say this all the time, but I'd say 50 to 75% of the people we interview on the show who are in horror movies don't watch horror movies.
They don't like them.
Well, I loved The Exorcist. It's my favorite horror movie. I loved A Quiet Place.
Mm-hmm.
But these days, we call them horror films, and they're not. They're slasher films. And I don't do those at all. Not at all. I don't do them. I don't watch them. A real horror film takes time to develop the characters, and there's a real story there that evolves those characters into something you care about. In Cujo, you cared about that mother and son.
Yeah.
Right? In the Howling, you cared about the people that were trying to win over the light, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what that film is really about, the light versus the dark.
Yeah. I mean, so we're going to try to cover some of your most popular horror films
right.
of the past before we get to the current ones. We wanted to start with the 1977 survival horror flick, The Hills Have Eyes. Now, I know this was one of your first roles, so how did you get involved with that project, and what were your thoughts at that time, so early in your career, about doing a horror movie?
I got a job. Yeah. That
was
was
the best
about
answer ever.
That was about the extent of it, guys. When you're starting out, you don't judge any. When I read it, I thought, oh, this gives me a lot to do. This gives me a lot of great emotional stuff. And I'm a good crier and I'm a good screamer. So I think horror fans and the horror genre just went, ooh, let's go after her. She's a good screamer. So no, I didn't go looking for them. I auditioned. And okay, let me back up a minute. So the very first film I ever did was a religious film called The Hills Have called All the King's Horses. And I got that because my acting teacher, Charles Conrad, thank you, Charles, had a scene night, and the casting director came, and she loved me and thought I was perfect for that battered wife in this religious film. Grant Goody, do you remember Grant from Eight Is Enough?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He played my husband. and really hit me one time. Ooh. So I got that, and it was a real tour de force role. And I thought, I'm going to rent a little place where I can show that film, and I'm going to invite 10 agents that I think I want to work with that would be at the level where they, again, everybody said, are you kidding me? You're going to show an effing religious film to Hollywood agents? And I said, hey, if they can't see my acting, I don't want them to rep me anyway. Do you know 9 of them wanted me?
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm saying to everybody out there, people that love you the most will try to limit you to keep you safe. Go do it anyway.
That's good advice.
That is good advice. And
yeah, I've lived by it.
you know, you talked about the Hills Have Eyes. It gave you a great role. It's very intense, obviously. And spoiler alert, it's especially intense during your big fight scene with one of the cannibals, Mars, because it culminates in you getting shot to death. And it's incredibly jarring because, you know, you're just trying to protect your baby. What was it like filming that brutal fight scene?
I know. And already they have me as a mother. My first thing, I was a mom.
Yep.
You know, it's interesting. Sex and fight scenes become so technical when you do them that you really break everything down into components, and it's not very scary at all. You have to it's all really about energy. And you have to get your energy very high. And as my teacher, Charles Conrad, taught me, you come in with absolutely no ideas. Now, that's the first time I had ever heard that in an acting technique. Everybody else, I studied with Uta Hagen, amazing teacher, not for my brain. Jeff Corey, same thing. But when I'm telling you guys, I can come to the end of the road and go, okay, there's the ocean, there's the mountains. Well, I've got to go left. It's always right. If I try to figure it out, I'm screwed. But if I go in and allow the character to take me over, they tell me what to do, and it's always right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have so many stories to back that up.
No, I can imagine. And so that kind of came into play in that scene in the Hills Have Eyes. Yeah.
And you worked with director Wes Craven, who became a horror master. What was it like to work with him at this point in his career?
You know, he was quiet and intense and very kind and rather subdued. Not the way you think of a horror director at all.
I've heard that though about him.
Yeah, he started out as an English professor.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, moving on to 1981's The Howling, you play Karen White, a TV newscaster who trails a serial killer and ends up at a colony filled with werewolves. Now, your performance in this movie was so impressive, and I was just wondering, what kind of preparation did you do, or do you remember doing for this role? Because you had to portray like the trauma of surviving an attack, let alone having to battle werewolves. Did you do any specific type of preparation for this role? Oh, okay.
My preparation is not to prepare.
I like that though, because like you said, so you try to kind of go in the moment, like you said, and let the character take over while you're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the dinner table scene in E.T.
Mm-hmm.
That laugh, no peanut spread talking, sit down. That was Mary. if I had figured it out from my head, I went, well, I'm a mom and that's bad language at the table and, all that horse poop we do. And then at the end, he says, my husband's in Mexico with Sally. I felt all these tears coming up. And Mary thought, oh, I can't let the kids see me cry. So I got up and left.
Wow.
So Stephen, when he cut, he came over and he said, Dee, that wasn't in the scene. Why did you get up and leave? And I explained to him what happened. And he looked at me and he turned to the crew. He said, you've got 30 minutes. Build me another wall to the kitchen with a sink with running water. So he could take me over to the sink and bring me back into that extreme close-up where I say, he hates Mexico.
Wow.
And that's when the magic really happens. When a director and an actor trust the character and what happens and expand it. Yeah. And I've got every major director I've ever worked with, stuff has happened like that on sets with us. Every one of them.
I love hearing that that's how you approach things, because I don't think we've heard that specifically.
We talk to, actors, but you're like really talking about the craft. And like, I wish I had an audition coming up because I would feel so much more prepared.
Well, listen, it's so much about energy. You get your energy and you train it to do this really, really, really high. And then you do what you call throwing your energy. So I'm going to show you. You'll be able to see it on screen. So watch me. So I'm talking to you and it looks like I'm connecting with you, right? I'm looking right at you. Now I'm sending my energy to you while I talk to you. Can you feel the difference?
I do feel a little bit like, I don't know if I'm telling myself to feel, but I do feel different.
Yeah. And that's what a director sees when you tape an audition. They see your energy coming out of that screen and connecting with them. And that's why reviewers say, oh, they had so much chemistry, because they've got that energy going back and forth.
Yeah. Taking back to the Howling, there's so many impactful scenes in that, but at the very end, one of the most impactful scenes, I think, is your transformation. And I was just wondering, what kind of makeup and prosthetics did you have to wear for that scene?
It's not me.
It isn't?
It's not me.
I never knew that.
I was up shooting Cujo, and for some reason I had it in my contract that my character would never appear as a werewolf. I guess it was important back then. I don't know. But Joe, my wonderful Joe Dante, our director, called me and he said, Dee, all the cards, the test audience, they want to see Karen change. I said, I don't care, Joe. But it's in your contract. I said, I don't care. You have my permission. But can you make her just a little more vulnerable, because she's fought so hard against it? So he and Rob came up with this, what I call my Bambi werewolf.
She's cute.
She is cute. Wait, so they created that? That's not you at all?
Not at all.
Wow. How about, well, then I have to ask.
It's an animatronic.
That is amazing. During Eddie's big transformation scene, because in the movie, you're like front and center right next to him as that huge transformation.
Had nothing to look at.
That's what I wanted to know. So you were reacting to nothing.
Yeah. I'm reacting to Joe going, okay, he's getting bigger now. Whoops, there goes his ears. Now his nose is... And so, yeah, that's what the crew started doing. And so finally I said, cut. I said, Joe, tell me the order and let me just imagine it, okay? Because it was just too funny to hear somebody say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the most important question, did you get to keep that beautiful sketch of you that Eddie had drawn?
No.
It was such a beautiful sketch.
Yeah, it would have been a great thing to sell at the cons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. You mentioned E.T., and although E.T. is not a horror film, I think our audience would be really pissed if we didn't at least ask you a couple questions about this blockbuster. What do you remember about the audition process for Mary, the
Didn't
mom?
audition.
You didn't?
This is just full of surprises.
It really
Oh my
is.
God, I love
everything.
it.
We know
I
nothing.
think we knew well, yeah.
I auditioned for used cars, but Stephen works very far ahead, and he saw in me exactly the quality that he wanted for Mary. And so when E.T. came along, they just offered it to me.
That's incredible.
And I had to drive to the studio behind locked doors to read the script because people were stealing ideas back then. So they didn't even let A Boy's Life, which was the working title, they wouldn't even let it off the lot. So I went over and read it, and I remember exactly what I called my agent from a landline, and I said, I don't think this is going to do a lot for me, but I think it's going to do a lot for the world, and I want to be a part of it. And I was right, wasn't
You
it?
were right. Oh my God. It was the
gosh.
highest grossing film until Jurassic Park, apparently.
Yeah, and Poltergeist was supposed to be his big film that year.
And
Mwah!
I know, and I mean, obviously, we have to ask, well, what is Steven Spielberg like as a director, and do you guys still keep in touch at all?
Oh, every once in a while, but I'm I'm sure I'm not on Steven's radar to email. But what was the original question?
Oh, what's he like as a director?
Oh, what's he? Yeah. He's like a little kid. He gets so excited. He just loves what he does. And especially when he works with kids, I mean, I wouldn't have had a career if I hadn't worked with kids and dogs.
I was just about to ask you, what was it like with Henry Thomas and Drew Barrymore?
Oh, God. Sometimes I think I'd rather work with kids because they don't come in with a lot of ideas. And they're always in the moment with you. They're always in the moment. Yeah. And, Danny Pintaro and Cujo, dear God, I thanked God every morning that I got that kid for that part. But the kids in E.T., so professional, so much fun. Stephen would go out at lunchtime and do hoops with them.
That's awesome. So he is like a kid at heart, or at least was then, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't mean he's not a very savvy businessman and knows exactly what he wants, but he also knows when to see the magic and expand on it. And that's the sign of a great director.
Yeah, no, truly. So switching gears from the sweet, non-threatening alien to the rabid, murderous dog. Now, I read in a Fangoria interview that you said 1983's Cujo was by far the most difficult thing you've done in your life. So what made this movie so difficult for you?
Have you seen it?
Of course, many, many times. And I even know what your answer is going to be, but I want our audience to hear.
Because emotionally and energetically, I literally ripped my soul out and threw it on the screen. Yes. You're working with a dog and a kid. So when those two work, they print it. So you got to be on every single time. And, you see it as a completed scene, which means we probably shot it with all the different angles and everything 15 or 20 times.
I mean, as a kid, I mean, when you're in the car with the child and the dog's outside, but the first hour, I mean, I'm a huge soap fan. I love the love triangle between you and your husband and the guy you're having an affair with. And then when you're cleaning up the milk, I feel like that scene is so powerful because like there's no words. It's like,
yeah.
As a soap fan, I just
And doesn't he say
Yeah.
just to tell me yes or no
Yeah.
something, and you say yes? Yeah, it is powerful.
the dog stuff, but there's also the human side of it with like, you know, the old school affair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a film about facing your greatest fears. And by the way, the guy that played my lover was my husband.
Yes.
Now, I got to tell you this story because most people don't know this story. He played my husband in The Howling.
Yes.
He got that on his own. Dan Blatt, our producer, called me. He said, Dee, we've got a really great cast lined up to be with you. We're just still looking for the guy to play your husband. And I said, well, exactly what are you looking for? And he said, well, he's got to be really virile, but with a real sensitive side. And I went, oh, I'm freaking engaged to him. And within 5 seconds, I went, don't say that, Dee. He'll never get it. And I said, you know, I did this episode of Chips with Christopher Smith or Stone, some S word. And they went out and found him and brought him in, and he got it on his own. So the next day, Dan Blatt calls me, and I pick up, and he says, Dee? And I said, hi, Dan. He said, well, this is weird. I thought I would, you know, that guy you told us about, we really liked him and we hired him. I thought I was calling his number. And I said, you are.
So you pretend when you were even giving the name, you like messed up the name, like you didn't quite remember. That's genius.
That's the best way to play it.
And so I hear this long silence, and then I hear, oh, shit. I said, don't worry. You only have to get one trailer instead of two.
That's hilarious. I love that. You know, you were talking about in Cujo, part of what made it tough, obviously, the working with dogs and they have to get it right. And I read that there were real dogs, mechanical dogs, and even a guy wearing a dog costume.
Okay. There were 13 real dogs that played Cujo.
Wow.
They did almost every single shot in the film.
Wow.
They were all trained to go after toys. So we had to tie their tails down with fish wire because they were wagging them all the time.
Yeah, because that means the dogs are happy. Yeah.
From here up, they look ferocious. Dig for that toy. Dig for it, the trainer would say. Carl Miller, oh my God, even slept in the barn with those dogs. And then, yes, we had a stuntman in a dog suit. He did the big attack with me, and the stunt woman did it with the real dog, and they intercut. And he did part of the scene where he rams his head into the car, because you can ask a man to do that, but you can't ask a dog to do that. You know, so, but the real dogs did almost every shot in the movie.
That's incredible. And I love knowing that I mean, like you said, if you had to tie their tails down, at least they were, feels like having a good time. I guess.
God, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we heard
the hardest part of Cujo for me, because I'm a huge animal lover, was I couldn't go love on them. You can't have that contact because then they don't listen to the trainer.
Yeah.
And we heard that you injured yourself breaking glass in the car. What happened?
Oh my God. Okay. So we get to that last scene where Danny's locked in the car and I have the baseball bat and I have to break the back glass. And Lewis, our wonderful director, came up and he said, Dee, we're going to shoot this in slow motion. So you really, really have to hit the glass hard. We've treated it. You can't break it. Yeah. 3 hits and it broke. So now we had rehearsed the whole thing all the way through, so we wouldn't be locked into anything. So did I hear cut? Hell no. I'm sure everybody was standing there going, oh my God, she broke the glass. So everybody froze. I didn't hear cut. If an actor doesn't hear cut, you just keep going. So I got in the car. I picked Danny up. I was supposed to drag him out. But this part of my brain was going, get the kid, get the kid. This part of my brain was going, don't take him over the glass. You got to pick him up. He'll get hurt. So I picked him up and I do this stupid waddle out of the car. I get out of the car. Do I hear cut? No. So I keep running up, to the window, to the door. And finally, I hear cut, and Dan runs up to the set. Oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? And I went, I think so. Why? And he said, Dee, your arm. Well, I'd slit my arm.
Was there blood everywhere?
Well, there wasn't blood everywhere. There was blood. And Dan goes, oh God, I hate to ask you to do this. Can we wrap it in an ace bandage? Can you do one more take?
Oh my gosh.
So we wrapped it in an ace bandage and then we went to the hospital.
Oh my.
Am I a trooper or what?
You are a trooper. I love that it's like, oh, so sorry that you broke the glass. Can we do that again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to get the shot.
Oh, a few years ago, Stephen King, who we all know wrote the novel that Cujo is based off of, said, and I quote, Dee Wallace gave the best performance that I've ever seen in one of my movies. And then he went on to say that you should have won an Academy Award for the performance. How did it make you feel to hear such a high compliment from him?
Pretty damn awesome.
Because there have been a lot of movies based on his books. Yeah.
I'd like to do another one, Stephen.
You hear that, Stephen King? No, I mean, there's so many, but that is quite the compliment. I mean, it's amazing.
Cujo is by far my favorite film.
Oh, I love it too. I love the score.
I just gave everything I had.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. So a few years later, in 1986, you start as Helen Brown, another matriarch figure in the original Critters. Now, I know that the actual critters were mechanical puppets. What was it like interacting with these puppets on set?
They were mechanical?
Well, that's what I've read.
What I remember is we would all get into the emotion of the scene, right? And then the director would go, okay, roll them in. And somebody would be off camera, literally rolling them across the camera. Now, that being said, I didn't have as many in-depth scenes with the critters. I love the scene where I get to shoot the little fucker. but I know the big one wasn't made, and that's why you only see like this peeking through the upstairs window that I see. You want to, the one that they do Critters Attacks that's on Sci-Fi. Oh my Lord, that thing walked out, my jaw dropped. It's so incredible. If you didn't know there's another Critters, it's playing on Sci-Fi, I'm sure, still. So.
And we actually were going to ask you about that. It was the 2019 sequel, but you're playing a character of a different name, is it a different?
Yeah, I don't know it's some legal BS.
But it was basically your character from the first one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're playing the same character, but you have a different name.
Yeah, exactly. There's also a funny part in Critters where one of the critters takes a bite out of an E.T. doll. And so I've got to know, was this put in because of your connection to E.T.?
Of course. Of course. That's, what do you call them when they plant little things like that?
Easter eggs?
Yes, Easter eggs, right.
It's so good. Yeah. And then one decade later, in 1996, you starred in The Frighteners as Patricia Bradley, a very different character from the ones you had previously
I
played.
know.
I just wanted to know, like, what was it like playing such a villainous character in this
Oh, I
movie?
had so much fun. I had so much fun. I thought, man, I've got to work for a foreign director in a foreign land to show people I don't always have to play mothers, you know? And I went over to Universal and auditioned for Peter, whom I love more than life, I've got to tell you. And I think Michael J. Fox came in and watched it too. They were at the back of the theater. And when I finished, I said, guys, please don't see me with this bright blonde hair because that's not Patricia. You know, see me with long dark hair. Or, she's dowdy. She's a, you think she's a victim. Well, the next day I was hired.
Oh, that's awesome. And
And
which do
I
you
just had a
prefer?
great time. Just a great time.
Which do you prefer, playing a heroine or a villain?
I prefer playing a good part.
Oh, good
I
answer.
like that. Yeah.
That is a good
I don't
answer.
want to be limited anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I have 10 films coming out, guys. Three of them are family films with comedy in them, and the rest are horror.
Love
And
that.
Like bouncing back and forth and doing everything.
speaking of comedy, real quick, I just want to get this out. One of my favorite movies, we're a horror focused podcast, but Secret Admirer, you're
Yeah.
so funny in Secret Admirer. I just wanted to get that out.
Oh, thank you. We had so much fun doing that, Fred and I, in that car scene.
Yes, hilarious.
And, I said, I'm I'm just going to fall out of frame and let the audience decide what's going on. And the director said, "Oh my God, I love that piece." So that's what we did. We had so much fun.
I love that I mean, like, obviously, we love that you embrace the horror genre so much, but it's great that you get to be in a variety of things and still go for like the role over like a specific type of character. I think that's great. And you mentioned this, but a funny parallel between the Frighteners and Critters is that in both movies you get to wield a shotgun and go on a shooting spree. So,
Yeah.
what was it like running around shooting a shotgun, especially after Michael J. Fox and getting to strangle him with that shotgun?
Uh, I'll tell you, when my husband looked at Critters, my husband was an actor, but he was also an ex-Marine. And I see him go like this. And I go, "What? You don't like it?" He said, "Honey, I got to show you how to hold a gun." I'm like this, right? And I said, "I'm a farm wife. I'm not supposed to know how to hold a freaking rifle." I should have, but and so by the Frighteners, he had given me some pointers by then.
Oh, so okay. I just love that it's just so funny that these two big movies, you have these big shotgun scenes in
And
both.
the one in the Frighteners was so heavy. They taped that big flashlight on. Oh my Lord. It was and I lost Christopher during the Frighteners. Yeah. So it it was a real yin and yang experience
Yeah.
for me. I will love Peter Jackson till the day I die for taking care of me through all that.
Yeah.
And he first had a heart attack, and I flew back, and he was fine. So I flew back. 5 days later, he died. I flew back again, put his service on, grabbed my kid and my nanny, and we all flew back. And I said, "Well, how do I pay you for these flights? They said, don't worry, Dee, we'll settle up at the end. I thought, well, this is going to be every cent I made on this movie, but that's life. So I went in at the end to settle up, and here come the tears. And the accountant said, Peter's just going to take care of it all for you, Dee.
So sweet.
Very sweet.
Wow.
Yeah, he didn't have to do that, but that's who Peter is. I watched, there was never anybody too small, too insignificant on Peter's set, not for him not to sit down and address a problem with him. Well, that speaks a lot to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's amazing, especially with the sheer amount of movies, TV shows that you've been in. Obviously that stands out in your life. Like I imagine as like a great experience with a director. I can't imagine that every experience you had was as good,
I have been very fortunate to work with wonderful, caring, lovely, talented directors.
Yeah, that's
really
great.
Fortunate. My motto is life is too long to work with the assholes.
I like that.
I just don't have any space for it in my life.
That's great.
Good. And you shouldn't, and nobody should, to be honest.
Nobody should. No. Yeah. If you think you have to berate me and mistreat me on a set to get the performance you want, not the actor for you.
I like that.
I like that too. Flashing forward to the present. Now, first off, we read that you're approaching your 300th film and TV credit, which is unbelievable. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we also read, and you mentioned this, that you filmed multiple horror films that have either just premiered or are coming soon, one of which is The Boy from Below. Now, this is my favorite type of horror film because it takes place on Halloween night. Can you tell us a little bit more about this movie and your role in it?
I love Tori, the director. I loved being on set with him. I don't want to give anything away, The Boy from Below would be equivalent to the monster at the back of your closet when you're 6.
Ooh.
Now, you're going to take it that way. Somebody else is going to take it that way, But it's very psychologically frightening.
That sounds great.
I feel what you're saying. You're saying like what is in someone's closet may not be in someone else's.
Yeah. And what scares you isn't what scares me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Exorcist is so scary to me because not being able to be in charge of who you are is the most frightening thing I can think of.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we see it everywhere right now. People trying to make other people believe and act and react like they think they should. Mm-hmm. Life has never worked that way. We're put on this plane to practice free will. So if you want to get the life you want, you better know what you want. Otherwise, you'll never create it.
Yeah.
Agree.
And in a different direction, also in dating.
In dating. Yeah, that works too.
Know what you want. Yeah.
The trick is, do you know that a child's belief system is locked into their brain by 8 years old?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So whatever you're taught verbally or whatever's modeled in front of you between conception and 8, that is the belief system that you have based your life on.
Wow.
So if you want to see the wall you're hitting as an adult, go back to your childhood and see what you were taught or modeled.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally does.
That's where the gold is, guys, for all of us.
Wow.
I have to take a look.
I know, like, I don't have to think about it. Well, we also read that you're starring in The Licked Hand, a film based on an urban legend. Now, I have to ask, is this the creepy urban legend where the woman reaches under the bed to get licked by her dog and it turns out to be a person? Is it based on that urban legend?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Legend.
And when they sent it to me, Adad, the director, and I said, I need to talk to you before I accept this. So we did a Zoom call. I said, look, everything in me wants to do this part. It was literally like, not in material, but in energy, another Cujo. And I said, dude, I really want to do this. I don't know if I can anymore. And he said, Dee, we've got a stunt person. I did most of my own. Not because of her. She was great because that's just who I am and what I've always done, slitting my arm and all that. So he said, we've got a stunt person. We've got a stand-in. Whatever you need, whenever you need a break, I just want you to do this film. And I said, well, I want to do this film.
That's great.
So we did the film. And I haven't seen it yet, but the magic that happened on the set was pretty amazing.
I mean, it's such a creepy urban legend, and I love that it's like you returning to working with a dog in another horror film. Obviously, it's like a weird full circle moment, but like, can't wait for, as soon as I saw this title, I was like, I've heard that story. I can imagine it.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that because I thought they should change the title.
Oh, I knew instantly from the title.
Yeah, the title is actually,
Okay. I'm relinquishing my argument. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Well, and then we read you most recently finished shooting the upcoming Southern Scares, a horror film that was filmed in the tradition of Stephen King and is based on, I guess, existing folklore and ghost stories. Is there anything you can tell us about this film or your character, Myra?
It's so interesting. The script is so well written, and it takes place in this old video store like Blockbuster. And she's watching different old videos. My section, my character worked at and ran the opera house in the like 1800s. So I play a character from the 1800s, but all of the vignettes go together to feed the story of the evil presence that only the girl. I'm giving away too much.
Oh, well, what was it like filming at the Springer Opera House in Georgia?
Oh, it's beautiful. Really beautiful. And a little eerie, to tell you the truth.
That's a plus.
I mean, you could let your imagination run just 5 minutes and imagine ghosts there and things that have happened in the past. Yeah.
Do you know of any idea of when any of these 3 recent horror films? Oh, they don't. I was going to say release dates. I want to know when we can see them. Oh,
me too. Me too.
Yeah.
No, I go in, I do my best, I give it my all, I say goodbye, I go on to the next one.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Because we don't have actors don't have any control over stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have to let go, you know, the music, how they edit it, how they decide to release it. And then it's all up to the audience. Are they going to embrace what we did? You know, I mean, without the public, E.T. would not have ever been the biggest blockbuster of all time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we all come together to make that magical world.
Yeah.
So true.
So just a few final questions before we wrap up. Dee, this is kind of just a general question related to your career in this genre. What do you enjoy most about doing horror films?
Oh, because it gives me the best opportunity to play all the emotional life that I love to play, that I'm good at playing. And it allows me to play big arcs. Like, look at Patricia in The Frighteners. You think she's a simpy little victim who turns out to be a mass murderer. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to play a part like that? Who wouldn't want to be the mother of a kid trying to save him from a rabid? I mean, that's a tour de force opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the emotional arcs and the different colors they give me to play. That's what I see how excited I get when I talk
No,
about
we
it.
love that because
Yeah.
obviously as horror fans, it's like that's what's made me so irritated that like the Academy Awards hasn't embraced horror more because just like you said, the amount of emotional the depth of emotions that people have to portray in horror films is so unbelievably, I would assume, tough to do. And then they don't really get nominated for Academy Awards when I'm saying, oh my
It's
God,
like it's
how does
you
that
go
not
from
work?
level 0 to 10. Like the emotions are like, whoa.
Yeah, from fear to
Got me.
yeah, from fear to grief to trauma to everything. That's just, you don't see that in
Yeah,
every movie.
And if
yeah,
you
I know. It's, goes back to the B movies of Frankenstein and Dracula and all. That horror was a B movie, period.
Mhm.
I think that's starting to change with A Quiet Place and some of the other really good, horror-based stuff that's been out, and the main actors that have come aboard to do them. But it's a slow process, guys. You know, we used to laugh before I was in the business. My dad would look at the reviews and go, well, the critics really love this one, so we won't go to that.
That's
that's
funny.
funny.
Well, but it's true a lot of the time.
Oh, I live by it.
Yeah, no, that's true. Another general question about your career in horror. You've obviously filmed several death scenes throughout your career. Two that stand out to me as like the most brutal or impactful was your death in Rob Zombie's Halloween and also in last year's Stream. Of all the death scenes you've filmed, which has been your favorite?
Oh, geez.
Or which stands out?
Probably Halloween. So, the first part of that scene, I slide down the bookcase while he's coming to stab me, right? So 3 weeks later, I get a call from the producers. We need you back. I said, but I've already died. They said, yeah, but Rob wants to kill you better. So I went back and I crawl through the hallway, and then we go into that room. He throws the stunt woman through the glass table, and then off me finally.
That was really tough on me to watch. I
It
was like,
was tough.
I don't
I
want to see this.
It's so brutal, and it's just so sad what happens to your character. Actually, here's a question: have you ever been in a movie where they want you to do a death scene and you're like, "That's too brutal," and just like putting your foot down?
Nope.
If you could pick any type of horror film to star in next, what would it be?
I don't know. I can tell you I've always wanted to play a nun that was challenging her beliefs. But that's not a horror film.
We've seen some.
Well, no, not the one I thought. Not a horror film. I'm not a writer. I wish I were, but I got to tell you, I get some of the most original stories and scripts. I did a little film for Deborah Voorhees, and when she sent it to me, I read it and went, "Why has nobody thought of this story before?"
13 Fanboy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's such an original story. And nobody had ever, I said, "Deborah, I have to do this. It's just too original." Oh my God, we had so much fun.
Yeah, that was an original idea because I always thought about that too. Like when you're at a convention, if there is someone that's a little unhinged, that's got to be a scary thing.
Yeah, and you got to star alongside most of the Friday the 13th franchise of actors.
Which is your favorite Friday the 13th?
I'm not getting into this political conversation, but I can tell you, horror actors don't take any of that shit off the screen. We say cut and we go, "Okay, who wants to go dancing?" "All right, are we going for a drink now?"
You've got to, or you'd go nuts, I would assume.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And it took me years to learn to let go like that.
So
I didn't know how to do it when I did the Howling.
Oh God, that would be a lot to take on.
Yeah. Many times Dan and Joe say, "Thank God Christopher was on that set."
Looking back on your remarkable career in horror so far, what are you most proud of? Whether it's a role, film, or just something that happened throughout your career?
What I'm most proud of is that I'm always real. That's the most important thing to me, is not to act. And in horror films, it's challenging sometimes. It was challenging in the Howling just to stand there and watch the werewolf, the man, turn into a werewolf. Because part of you is going, "Well, this has got to be really dramatic. Oh, I should be more emotional." You want to show it instead of being in the real moment where, my God, I'd freeze. If something happened like that in front of me, I'd freeze. While I have the emotion going on and coming up. And I think that's the biggest challenge for everybody. Audiences are very savvy. And if you're in a horror scene and you go, people are going to laugh. But if you go, they're not going to laugh. They're with you because they're in the moment with you.
So true.
Oh, God, that just, My whole body's going like this now.
But that is so true. Like
Therapeutic.
we watch horror films all the time, and the biggest thing is that if we don't feel a genuine performance from the actors, we don't feel genuinely scared, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's so true. And we can just tell that you've been so amazing in this interview, and you're so down to earth and real and genuine. So I can only imagine, like, I think that was the greatest answer to hear you say about what you're most proud of in your career, because, you know, some people could say, oh, this award or this role or something. So that was a really great, honest answer. Thank you.
Yeah.
Genuine.
Well, it's true. What you see is what you get, boys.
And we love it.
That's me.
We have one final question for you, Dee. Okay, one final question, and we ask this to everyone we interview. You ready? It's going to put you on the spot. Okay. What is just one thing that you can tell us about your experience working on any of the films we've talked about today that you've never told any other interviewer, publication, convention, podcaster? Just one thing about any of the films from your career that you've never told before.
Or it could be a new film too, which we haven't seen.
Christopher and I would have great sex in our trailer in between shots.
On which
Bravo.
film? On which film? The Howling?
Both of them.
I love that.
Oh,
answer.
that was the
I
best.
love
That
it.
may be our best answer to that
Oh,
question.
I'm
ever.
going to frickin' hear about that now. I'm sure.
Oh,
that was great.
Again.
Never, ever, ever, ever said that to anybody else.
I feel so privileged. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was, talk about a genuine answer.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God. Well, Dee, thank you so much for your time.
Year.
You've made our night. You've made everything.
Yeah, I've had a ball. It's been a lot of fun, guys.
Well, great. Well, we
you.
wish you all the best. We'll definitely be in touch. And thank you for your time. Yes, have a great rest of your evening, okay?
You too.
Okay, take care.
Ciao, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Happy Horror Time.
If you'd like to support the podcast, please sign up to be a patron at www.patreon.com/happyhorrortime. As a patron, you get access to all our bonus content, which now includes 2 new bonus episodes every month, a monthly after-show mini episode, access to our Discord community so you can chat with us directly, and the chance to review a film with us in one of our bonus episodes.
Patrons also get all our regular episodes ad-free and a day early, our monthly newsletter, the chance to vote in polls, and autographed Happy Horror Time stickers.
I'm Matt Emmert.
And I'm Tim Murdoch.
And we hope you have a happy horror time.